I'm Dane Rosen. I thought I'd talk a little bit about what I see as the opportunity that happiness data represents to the larger donor and nonprofit sector at its current stage of development. Now, first, a little bit of context. I've been running my business since I was 17 years old, in up economies and down economies, managing all the various things involved with being a contractor doing millions of dollars of business. And so I have a very strong sense of cash flow and cost management. So there's a good foundation for groundedness there. As a designer, my primary definition of intelligence is energy transformed into structure, generating maximum human sustainable well-being equals intelligence. So what a designer does is takes a budget of $30,000 or a budget of $10,000, whatever the budget is, and analyzes all of the different possible arenas that could generate multiple sources of value. A good designer is looking to overlay things such as, is it more or less maintenance than other options? Is it more or less year-round interest? If something looks gorgeous for 1 month of the year and terrible the rest of the year, and something else looks okay 12 months of the year, you've got more value generated to the client. In the second case, we're also looking at cost, upfront cost and cost over time, cost in maintenance. You can put in a $1,000 item that takes $10,000 to maintain over the next 20 years, or you can put in a $3,000 item that takes nothing to maintain over the next 20 years. So there's a variety of trade-offs that are very valuable in investing in human well-beings, or a mindset that balances these trade-offs. So the other thing is, as a relative unknown, there is very little risk for us in taking and experimenting with big ideas. And so one possible and intelligent use of, a new startup in the nonprofit sector is to actually pioneer and test designs within the nonprofit paradigm that, if they pay off, might deliver a tenfold improvement in sustainable human well-being per dollar invested or hour invested. And if they do not pay off, the lesson is learned with a $10, $20, $30, $100,000 budget, as opposed to a $10, $20, $30, $100 million budget. And so it's obviously very intelligent to practice and test on small scales. Similarly, since there is a political element in nonprofit, which means that any large nonprofit, and to some extent donors that are still active in the political or economic world, must consider not only what is intelligent, but unfortunately what is perceived as intelligent in a relatively uninformed population. And so as a result, it's a little bit more tricky. And again, a small nonprofit can be used as a kind of a lightning rod, a testing to see how does someone or how does the public relate when it's a very small organization. And what this means is that you can test both known and anonymously through an intelligent nonprofit. Now, to the extent, of course, that I can answer the question, which is the only reason I'm interested in this whole field, is this the single most valuable investment per dollar, per hour available to spend in terms of the amount of time and money and resources it takes to generate a certain volume of human well-being. And so these are a couple of the reasons that I think we represent an enormous opportunity. And there's no bureaucracy, and right now there's no overhead, meaning I'm funding everything personally, and obviously there's no interest in taking a salary. And as long as I'm able to sustain my contracting business as my normal source of revenue, which right now I work 2 to 3 hours a day as a contractor 6 months of the year and easily sustain myself on that level. This is also a symptom of good design, meaning that's something that I've worked towards since age 17 with over 1,000 individual small and large choices that have generated more and more quality time for me as a contractor. So I hope that helps. And if you'd like to begin a partnering relationship, one of the first things to do could be a brainstorming dialogue. No cost, get a feel for one another. I think it's very important to align on value hierarchies and also the metric of intelligence. I consider anything that can be done more efficiently with a direct correlation to sustainable human well-being to be the measure of intelligence, which means you have to measure human well-being and all the different metrics involved, physically, emotionally, financially, logistically, and then see what precipitates that level of well-being. It'd be fun to chat, and feel free to reach out.